Well, hello. I hope you all are having a super duper fantastic day out there today. Hey, I'm live at 5. 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 Come on inside of the StreamYard room. It's a conversation today. We're taking it all the way back to the beginning. In the beginning, put it in the chat. In the beginning. I'm going to talk about my business journey. We're leading up to my 5th year anniversary. So I want you to go ahead and mark your calendar. May 13th, Saturday, May 13th. I'm going to have a live event here on my business page with some of my top clients. I'll be presenting, they'll be presenting, I'll be announcing them. We'll be doing interviews. We're definitely going to give you nuggets and things that you can use. So it is going to be free out here in the universe. And then, of course, if you want to invest in, which I know you will, you definitely will want to invest in something. So I want you to be prepared. Come ready, looking for what it is that you need, because when you are looking for something, it actually shows up. But if you don't have nothing that you're looking for, and you come into a space and you don't know why you came, and you don't know what you're going to contribute, and you know you're not expecting anything, I promise you ain't nothing going to be there, and ain't nothing going to show up. But if you come knowing how you can contribute, knowing what to expect, and knowing why you came in the first place, I promise you something amazing will show up. But look, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Denise Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program. It is the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, and build a highly profitable business. And what I'm talking about today is in the beginning of my business journey. So I'm hoping that this conversation right here will encourage you, uplift you, give you courage, give you the competence, give you the confidence to go after what it is that you believe that you were called to do. So I shared this story, how it kind of really all started and came together for me back in the beginning. Put it in the chat. In the beginning. Yes, in the beginning. I shared with you, I had just come back from Essence Music Festival, which was life-changing, right? It definitely changed my entire life. You talk about speaking things that be not as though they were, and things just coming into existence and moving together. Anybody that I probably wanted to meet, I was able to meet. Like, it was just a fantastic time and experience with my bestie. My #1 is Siblings Day. So my bestie, my #1 is my sister, LaShawn Michael. And I'm sure she out here giving me the red dress and doing all the things. So thank you, Sissy, for always sharing the videos, being there, being my #1 bestie, #1 supporter. We were there at Essence. And after we came back, I was sitting at my desk. I was working in radio at the time. And my sister encouraged me to watch Iyanla Vanzant's interview on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah Winfrey. And this was like, I want to say the first Super Soul Sunday, but it was like a replay. I was watching it on like YouTube. It was probably a year later, because Super Soul Sunday, I believe, started in 2012. And this was in 2013. And while I was sitting there, I just heard in my spirit, speaking and teaching is what you should be doing. And I immediately started crying, because I just felt like I wasn't qualified. And anyone ever felt like that? Like you're being called to do something that you just feel like you're not qualified for, right? I just felt like I wasn't qualified. And if you're coming from that context of not feeling qualified, or not feeling like you're enough, or not feeling like you could do it, or you're too old, or whatever the conversation is, that is the context that you live in. And if you live in that context, nothing else besides what it is that you say will show up. So I started crying, and immediately I went into negotiation with God, right? You know, that's how we do. When he tells us to do something and it ain't up our alley, or we feel like we wasn't built for it, or we're not ready, and all these things we get into. Okay, come on now, God, wait a minute now. I ain't ready for this. And as the tears were streaming down my eyes, I went into negotiation mode, and I was just like, God, I just don't want to be on anybody's stage. I don't even have the desire to do that. And the more I sat there and I thought about the experiences that I had in life where God has told me to do something, or I had an intuition to take a certain step, or call a certain person, or move towards a certain thing, and I didn't, I regretted that I didn't, right? It was something that confirmed that it was the right thing to do, but it, you know, hindsight was 2020, and it was too late for me to actually move forward on it. So I knew that I didn't want to experience that again. And anytime that I ever felt or believed or was sure that it was of God, from God, it was my best bet to move forward and to do something about it, right? To test the spirit, test it out, put it in the chat. Y'all got to test it out. So I definitely did. I started talking to people. I started asking people questions. December of 2012, I had just had my first speaking engagement at my congregation. It was for a ladies' day, and my mom came. My best friend was there. Like, there were people there that was actually supporting me. And so, of course, I went back to these same people that actually heard me speak and was just like, look, do y'all think that this is something that I could do or that I should consider? Because I believe that this is the direction that God is pulling me into. So let me go ahead and just give you 3 things that I did back in the beginning. Back in the beginning, when I started my business, when I was unsure and I was dealing with the doubt and the lack of confidence and not having the courage to go for it, like all the things. Let me just tell you what I did. So the first thing I did, number one, I got me some cosigners. Put it in the chat, cosigners. And I know we don't encourage it. We don't want you waiting for anyone to validate you. But there's people in your circle that you trust, right? People in your circle that you can have authentic, real conversations with. And you can say, look, I'm considering doing this new thing. And I'm afraid. Like, I believe that this is what God is telling me to do, but I have no idea on how to make this happen, why he would even suggest such a crazy thing to me, because that's how I felt. Like, this is crazy. I have no degree in this. I have no training in this. I cannot believe that this is something that you want me to do, but I'm listening, right? And I got me some cosigners. So I started talking to the people in my circle, right? From my sister, my husband, my friends, my spiritual mom. I just was talking to everybody and was just like, okay, so here's what I'm going to do, right? Cosigners. Number one is get some cosigners. Like, you throw your idea out there and see what people are saying, right? The people who you trust. Now, everybody can't be a cosigner and everybody can't hold the baby. They can't hold the vision, but ask God for confirmation however you want. For me, the conversation was kind of like the first start. And once I got me some cosigners that helped build up my courage and my confidence, but it still wasn't enough. Put it in the chat. It still wasn't enough. Put it in the chat. It still wasn't enough. So the second thing that I actually started doing was I started asking for confirmation, right? Like, I just prayed for confirmation. And my way of being obedient and getting confirmation was that I asked God to send speaking engagements to me, right? Like, send them to me. I know if this is something that you really want me to do, you're going to send people to me to ask me to speak about something. And let me tell you how he did. It was May of that year. So let's just say maybe women's empowerment, because this was during women's empowerment time, happened March or so. And I just asked him to send confirmation to me. And he sent confirmation. He had me and my spiritual mom talk for Mayflowers. This is some speaking event, something we did at the Southside Church of Christ, and asked us both to speak. That was like one of the confirmations. And as we continued the year, right, I started receiving speaking engagements, and then I started actually talking to other people who had platforms that I trust to gain more experience speaking engagements, right? But ask for confirmation. That's number 2. Number three, come on, number 3. This is what I did. I started to build the skill. So I knew that I didn't feel like I had the skill on how to powerfully speak or tell stories or build points. I didn't even know how to build a PowerPoint presentation. Y'all just don't even understand how serious this is. I didn't know how to use a computer to build a PowerPoint presentation. I couldn't do that. But I started building the skill. And the first thing that I started to do was I started following people that I admired, like the Lisa Nichols and the Iyanlas and the Brendan Burchard and the Eric Thomas. And I just started looking at their videos, studying their videos, what things they talk about. Like, I was trying to find like the formula, right? Because I knew that when they talked, after they shared, I felt a certain way, right? But I couldn't, like when you just feel a certain way, somebody that when they talk, they move, touch, and inspire you. Put it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, there's just certain speakers, and put the speakers in there that you like, because I just want to know. put the speakers in there, right? When they speak, you actually feel something, like you're moved by what they're saying, like you're totally like into it, you're moved. And then so I just kept going to places that could help me put stories and together where it would touch, move people. Not that I was telling a fib, but that I could actually learn how to share my story in a way that it made a difference for other people. So I just kept studying and building a skill, right? So that's what I did. That was my number 3, built a skill. And then like coaching certifications, classes. I still take classes. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I always want to become more for my clients. Put that in the chat. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're building, become more for your clients. Put in the chat, I want to become more. I want to become more. And you should want to become more. If you want people to continue to invest in what it is that you're offering, you need to continue to build yourself. It cannot be one and done. It cannot be every so often. It needs to be a continual thing where they can tell that you're growing and you can continue to pour and to grow into them. Okay. And then the last thing that I did, like really for real, and it took me some years to get here. Now, I'm telling you, the stuff that I'm sharing with you wasn't all overnight. Put this in the chat. You already know what I'm going to say. It took effort and it took time. Put it in the chat. It took effort and it took time. It took effort and it took time, because I really didn't jump. Like, this was back in 2013. I didn't jump out here to 2018 after I got fired. That's why it's only five years. I'm 5 years old, right? Not when I got the LLC. I think I got the LLC in 2017, but I jumped for real after I got let go. And I still didn't even really jump then. It wasn't until I want to say I didn't build my first anything until after my live event in 2019 and the beginning of the pandemic. Honestly, 2020. Okay, like when I had like my real first program. But this was the beginning back in 2013. Put it in the beginning of the business building, my journey. In the beginning, 2013 is where it all started. Okay, so the final thing I did was I got in the game. So just number 4, get in the game. Get in the game. Get in the game. And get in the game means whatever it is, that thing that you want to do, you need to start doing it now, even before you get paid for it, right? Because this experience, like me and my husband and I were big boxing fans. So, before the boxers become pro, they already had amateur fights. Some of them come in with like 300 and something amateur fights. Some people come in with just like 50. Some people come in with just 20, right? And that all makes a difference on how they're able to perform inside of the ring with all the lights, camera, and the action. And it's the same thing with you. Whatever it is that you want to build, you want to serve people with, you should be able to do that like right now where you are, before you incorporate the business, before you get the LLC, before you get the logos, before you get the colors. And I don't know if this is something that you want to hear or not, but I'm telling you what helped me. I'm giving you my journey. And that's what we're going to be talking about for the next couple of weeks. I'm just going to give you bits and pieces of my journey. And hopefully it'll encourage you to take the action this year, like right now, to get started on whatever it is that God has called you to do, right? And then if you haven't, get in one of these programs. Get in either the Queenpreneurs Jumpstart program, get into Becoming the Change, because Becoming the Change is dealing with your mindset. It's getting you ready for the stepping into whatever the thing is that you want to create, right? I'm going to tell you this quick story and tell you how important. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to hold it. I'm just going to say Becoming the Change and how important it is. We'll talk about that the next session, and what led me to do some of the development that I wanted to do and I wound up doing. So look, today it was all about, in the beginning steps of my journey. Number 1 is I got some co-signers. Number two, I didn't build the skills. I didn't build the skills to number 3. I forgot what number 2 was. My note takers put in number 2. Then I built the skill, number 3. And then I got in the game, number 4. Okay. So look, whatever it is, and whatever stage number 2 was I got confirmation. I asked for confirmation, right? So number 1 was I got me some co-signers. Number 2 was I got some confirmation from the big dog upstairs. Number 3 was I built the skill. And number 4 was I got in the game. So those are like the beginning steps of the journey. Now, like I told you, it still took effort and took time, and that stuff did not happen quickly. It was like a real timeline. Like it was years in between these things, but it takes effort and it takes time. So look, hopefully this has been beneficial for you. Write this stuff down, get in the game, get your mind right. Wednesday, we're going to talk about becoming the change and how it helped, right? And how I got to becoming the change. I'm going to tell you how I developed the different things within my business, how I got my client journey down, like all the things I'm sharing. It's a wide open sesame happening right now, leading up into the main event that's on May the 13th. Remember, write this down. May the 13th is going to be a live event. It is my 5th year anniversary in business. We're going to do it. Me, some of my partners, my top clients, we in the game. And we're going to be here for you. So look, go ahead, share this video, the beginning of my business. You got business besties, people who keep talking about they want to start a business. Tag them in this video. Tag them in this video and share this on your page, because there may be people in your life who's been wanting to start a business and they've been afraid of. They suffered with some of the things that I suffered with in the beginning. And I'm telling you, I'm up for whatever conversation, questions in the chat, all the things. Hit me up in my DM. If you got my message, my text message, you got my phone, text me a question. Whatever it is, I want to address it. And we got time. We got about a month. Now, I am in Cabo, coming soon. And when I'm in Cabo, it ain't going to be no communication in Cabo. But listen, don't worry about that right now. I'll give you more information about the Cabo destination and all that stuff soon. But look, I just want to go ahead and get this on your calendar, May 13th. Always looking forward to serving you live at 5, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Denise Merriweather, 5 o'clock, because I'll be live at 5. See you.